Your Toyota is invincible until you make these 15 mistakes that will absolutely destroy your engine. You bought a Toyota because you wanted a car that lasts forever, you wanted dependability, 300,000 miles of trouble-free driving, and a machine that refuses to quit. But there is a massive neglect trap hidden in that reliability. Because these cars are so well built, owners often forget they aren't magic. Today we are counting down 15 expensive, avoidable mistakes that turn legendary Japanese engineering into a high-priced scrap metal pile. We're covering everything from the lifetime fluid lie to the $10,000 mistake you're making every time you pull out of your driveway. If you want your 4Runner, Camry, or Tacoma to actually reach that half-million-mile milestone, pay attention. The number one killer on this list has claimed more Toyota engines than every mechanical defect in history combined. Mistake 15, the surface destroyer. Let's start with how you clean it. Most people think dish soap is a cheap alternative to car shampoo. It isn't. Dish soap is engineered to strip grease from pans, which means it chemically dissolves the protective wax and sealant over your Toyota's paint. Once that layer is gone, the clear coat is defenseless against UV radiation and road salt. Combine this with automatic brush car washes that drag grit from the previous truck across your hood at high speeds, and you get permanent micro scratches. A professional paint correction can cost you $1,500. A bottle of pH neutral soap costs $10. Don't be lazy. Mistake 14, the 12-volt battery neglect. Modern Toyotas are rolling computers. Systems like keyless entry and pre-collision sensors stay active even when the car is off. If you let your battery die repeatedly, you aren't just shortening the battery's life, you are risking module corruption. When power drops below a certain threshold, your ECU can lose its calibration data. This leads to erratic idling and expensive dealer reprogramming sessions. If your car sits for weeks, buy a battery maintainer. It's the cheapest electronic insurance you will ever find. Mistake 13, neglecting four-wheel drive gear fluids. If you own a Tacoma, Tundra, or 4Runner, you have differentials and a transfer case. These components handle massive torque, especially if you're towing or off-roading. Over time, heat breaks down the lubricant and microscopic metal shards turn that fluid into an abrasive slurry. Toyota recommends changes every 30,000 miles for severe use. Most owners never touch them. A fluid change is $100. A differential rebuild is $4,000. Do the math. Mistake 12, ignoring direct injection carbon. Newer Toyota engines like the V6 in the Highlander or the hybrid 4 cylinders use direct injection. Unlike older engines where fuel washes the intake valves, these spray fuel directly into the cylinder. This allows carbon to build up on the back of the valves, eventually choking the engine's airflow. This causes misfires, rough idles, and a loss of 20% of your fuel economy. Every 60,000 miles, you need a walnut blasting service to physically remove that gunk. Ignore it and you'll eventually face a multi-thousand-dollar head repair. Mistake 11, the rider braking habit. Toyotas are heavy. A loaded Sequoia or Tundra can weigh nearly 6,000 pounds. If you ride your brakes down long mountain descents, you are generating sustained thermal stress. This warps your rotors, leading to that annoying steering wheel shimmy. Worse, making a hard stop and then sitting with your foot on the pedal allows heat to transfer unevenly, creating hard spots in the metal. Use your sequential shift mode to engine brake. Save your rotors and your sanity. Mistake 10, the cabin air filter trap. This sounds minor, but it's a silent killer for your HVAC system. A clogged cabin filter forces the blower motor to draw more current to push air through the restriction. This burns out the motor prematurely. Even worse, a dirty air filter allows organic debris to settle on the evaporator core. In the dark, damp environment of your dash, this grows mold and bacteria. To clean it, a mechanic has to tear your entire dashboard apart. That's an $800 labor bill for a $20 filter you ignored. Mistake 9, skipping brake fluid flushes. Brake fluid is hygroscopic, meaning it literally sucks water out of the air. Over 3 years, the moisture content rises, lowering the boiling point and causing internal rust. The rust eventually reaches the ABS modulator, the most expensive part of your braking system. Toyota's official schedule says flush it every 3 years regardless of mileage. If you haven't done it since you bought the car, your calipers are currently rotting from the inside out. Mistake 8, the universal coolant blunder. Toyota Super Long Life coolant is chemically unique. It uses a specific organic acid technology designed for Toyota's aluminum alloys and rubber seals. Using a universal yellow or green coolant from the local parts store can trigger electrochemical corrosion. This eats through head gaskets and water pump seals. Don't try to save $5 at the pump. Use the pink stuff or prepare to pay for a $3,000 head gasket job. Mistake 7, rolling gear shifts. We see this every day, shifting from reverse to drive while the car is still rolling backward. Inside your AC transmission, you are asking the clutch packs to instantly reverse the rotation of heavy internal components. The friction creates massive heat and sheds material into the fluid. Modern transmissions are robust, but they aren't indestructible. Come to a full dead stop before you move that lever, or you'll be shopping for a $7,000 remanufactured unit. Mistake 6, 6. The water pump tax. On Toyota V8 engines, the water pump is driven by the timing belt. If you replace the belt but save money by keeping the old pump, you're gambling with your engine's life. If that pump fails 10,000 miles later, you have to pay the entire $1,000 labor cost all over again to get back inside that timing cover. Even worse, if the pump seizes, it takes the belt with it. And on an interference engine, that means your pistons will smash your valves. Always change them together. Mistake 5. Octane greed. If you bought a GR Supra or GR86 or any performance-tuned Toyota, it requires premium fuel. Running 87 octane won't make the engine explode immediately because the NOx sensors will retard the timing to save it. But you are losing power, losing efficiency, and causing massive carbon buildup in the process. You bought a high-performance machine, don't feed it low-grade garbage. The fuel grade is a required part of the ownership cost. Mistake 4. PCV valve neglect. The positive crankcase ventilation valve is a tiny plastic part that costs $20. Yet is the number one cause for engine sludge. If it clogs, pressure builds into the crankcase, blowing out your oil seals and preventing the oil from flowing correctly. On older Toyota V6 engines, the PCV is hidden in a hard to reach spot, so mechanics often skip it. Make sure they don't. A clogged PCV is the first step toward a seized engine. Mistake 3. The lifetime transmission fluid lie. Toyota marketing calls some transmissions sealed for life. The engineers who actually built the transmission recommend changing the fluid every 60,000 miles. Lifetime only means the life of the warranty. If you want the transmission to last 300,000 miles, you must ignore the marketing and follow the engineering. Drain in, refill, never flush. Mistake 2. Timing belt procrastination. If your engine has a timing belt and it's been more than 90,000 miles, you are driving a time bomb. There is no warning, no noise. It simply snaps, the engine stops, and the repair bill will exceed the value of the car. Change it today. Mistake 1. Conventional oil and 10K intervals. The absolute biggest killer. Modern Toyotas need full synthetic oil. Pushing intervals to 10,000 miles on conventional oil is a recipe for engine sludge that kills Toyotas within 100,000 miles. Change your synthetic oil every 5,000 miles and your Toyota will outlive you. Stop making these mistakes and keep your Toyota on the road. Subscribe for more.